ask you, Peter, because we've gotten so much follow-up from our viewers on the interview with the sheriff moments ago.
I watched that. That was a compelling interview.
Thank you. And he talked about, how he does believe that it is his place to raise issues of politics or to call out what he perceives as vitriolic rhetoric in the wake of the shooting. Do we have the soundbite? Here's sound from last night. Here's the sheriff, but he doubled down on it earlier today.
The anger, the hatred, the bigotry that goes on in this country is getting to be outrageous. And unfortunately, Arizona, I think, has become sort of the capital. We have become the Mecca for prejudice and bigotry.
Now, the sheriff admitted today that that was his own speculation.
Yes.
But how, if at all, does that play as a legal matter into this case?
It doesn't, and I'm kind of disturbed by it. He seems like a very nice guy, and he seems to have spent the last 50 years in service to the people of Pima County in Arizona. But with all due respect, he doesn't seem to be any Wyatt Earp at this point. I think sheriffs and prosecutors have an obligation to speak to the facts of a case. And there are canons of ethics that constrict them and prohibit them from giving extrajudicial statements that might in fact prejudice the outcome of a case. And I think he said clearly, and I was quite surprised by it during your interview, he said, one party is trying to block the attempts of another party to make this country a better country.
Yeah.
Now, what that has to do with this assault and murder on 19 people yesterday in Tucson, Arizona, really bedevils me. And in terms of the national dialogue, he has been thrust on this stage. He has an obligation to give not only the people in Tucson and Pima County confidence in his stewardship, but to also say that the American system of justice is going to go forward in a straightforward, fair, ethical, and reasonable way. And so I know he's been involved in politics and Democratic politics.
He's an open Democrat. He ran for office as a Democrat.
And he's been involved in an unabashed way. But the time for politics is in some other forum, and it's some other time. We have death, we have mayhem, we have carnage, we have tears, and I shed tears with my daughters in the green room as I watched you interview the father of that 9-year-old girl. That was the most compelling thing I've ever seen. And obviously there's a need for reconciliation and for people getting together in this country. But we need the sheriff to lead us in getting us together
as opposed to alienating
in this country.
Some groups of people.
This is about who did this crime, and will he be convicted, and how will he be convicted? But it's not about making extrajudicial statements about the state of politics in this country and engaging in speculation that gives people opportunity to engage in the most reckless kind of conduct that pulls us apart. We need to be put together in this country, no matter who and what we are. This is a dastardly deed that occurred. And I believe that if he continues that kind of talk, and I'm saying it in the most dispassionate way I know, that there will be a gag order in this case, and he will be prohibited from speaking to the press, because eventually it imperils the public's and the government's and the states and our ability to get a conviction against the person or persons who will be indicted for these crimes. And that's what we want. We want justice. We don't need politics.
It is extraordinary to hear an investigator on a case speak in those terms, and we'll see. That's an interesting point you raised about the gag order. Peter Johnson, Jr., always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.